Hello and welcome back to another episode of LMScast. My name is Chris Badgett, and today I'm joined by Jack Arturo, creator of WP Fusion, and we're going to get into what that does and how it can help you as an online course creator or digital entrepreneur. And we're also going to talk a little bit about the digital nomad lifestyle. So Jack, thanks for coming on the show.
Yeah, thank you.
So where are you? Where are you coming at us from today?
I'm in Lima, Peru. It's finally summer here. We got the inverse weather of the Northern Hemisphere. Pretty great today. I'm liking it right now. In about 3 months when it gets foggy again, I think I'm going to head up to Europe as it starts to get warmer. But we can talk about the nomadic part of my life at the end of the call. But it's a nice place to be. There's actually a lot of people working in tech here. I've got a few friends from Canada who do actually major like from scratch systems for airlines and banks and stuff like that, because you can get a very talented Angular JS or PHP developer down here for much cheaper than you could in the States. So believe it or not, there's actually like kind of a cool programmer community down here. Yeah, it's a cool place to be.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, Jack is the creator of WP Fusion. I first came across Jack at LifterLMS because we create a learning management system software that makes it easy to create online courses. But a lot of times people want to get those contacts and get some data over to a CRM. We have a MailChimp integration. We have a ConvertKit integration. But there's so many different ones out there. Like, for example, there's Infusionsoft, there's Drip, there's ActiveCampaign, which we actually use ourselves and love as our personal favorite CRM of choice. And then there's also Entreport. And what Jack was able to do at WP Fusion is he made it so that you could connect your LifterLMS users and send that data over to those CRMs. In the past, we've used some kind of hacky systems where we do these Zapiers and things like that. But when I came across your product at WP Fusion, I was just blown away by like how clear the thinking was and how it's really, what it does to connect WordPress to different services and things was really just amazing. And I think you really nailed it on the market need there.
Thanks, yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
And just tell us, like, where did this whole idea for WP Fusion come from?
I've been a web developer about 5 years and doing a lot of client sites to get more and more complex, and started doing a lot of API work. And I ended up doing a lot of sales sites where we'd be using InfuseWoo, we'd be using the Gravity Forms Infusionsoft add-on, and then we'd be writing a ton of custom code to connecting advanced custom fields over to Infusionsoft. And every single time it was reinventing the wheel. And also you might need 4 different plugins to connect the stuff you need on your site to this one system. And you're doing a lot of duplication there, and you don't know how well they're going to be supported or maintained. And so what originally started as was we needed a system to connect User Pro to Infusionsoft, which was just impossible at the time. Just to have like a new user register and make a contact record. And there's just like, no, nobody can do that. There's nothing out there. So I was like, all right, well, we'll start with that. And then somebody was like, well, if you can do User Pro, can you do Ultimate Member? Yeah, sure, okay. And then, well, could you throw in a little bit to make LearnDash apply tags, when this happens? But from the beginning, we started thinking like, there's a lot of different CRM solutions out there, and I think that depending on the size of the business and how comfortable you are and what you're looking for, there's no perfect one, but they all basically revolve around you've got a contact and that's got some data, some fields, their information, and then you're segmenting your contacts with tags. And if you just boil it down to that, you can pretty much do anything you want in your CRM. So there's some other systems out there similar to ours that are more like all-in-one membership systems where, you set up membership levels and restrictions and that sort of thing. But we wanted to keep it really simple. Basically, once you connect your WordPress site to whichever CRM using WP Fusion, all of your WordPress contacts get matched up with CRM contacts. And there's a link, and the tags flow back and forth between them. If a WordPress user gets a tag applied by enrolling in a Lifter course, then that tag goes up to the CRM. And then instead of trying to create very heavy overblown interfaces in WordPress, now you've got all the power of something like ActiveCampaign, where you can say, if this customer used a coupon to enroll in the course before September, and then he finished the course 2 weeks later and referred a friend, send him another coupon. And ActiveCampaign's already built that. They put millions into that. And so I think we've come up with a very lightweight, elegant solution for letting you just take that WordPress data and hook it into the awesome power of those marketing automation tools.
That's awesome. It's like a really focused Zapier is one way. I don't know. I think about it, but how are you different from Zapier or what?
Well, Zapier just kills me. I actually use it a little bit myself. If I was rich, I'd use it for everything because it's fun connecting stuff together. But I don't like, I'm a big, I've been basically my whole career has been on WordPress, and I'm a big open source person. I think that code should be free to WP Fusion is free. When you purchase it, you're purchasing support and updates. Mm-hmm. And I really believe that it's important for customers to be able to see what they're buying, to understand some effort and qualities put into it. And there's no commitment. If you don't have to pay us every month or we cut you off, with Infusionsoft or something like that. And those guys aren't trying to be WordPress, so that's fine. But if you're going to run it on WordPress, I think that you should stick to the principles of WordPress. So Zapier is awesome, but if I was going to automate my life the way I'd like to with Zapier, I'm going to end up paying hundreds of dollars a month.
Right.
And I wish I'd thought of that first. I wouldn't be here. And also we have a lot of benefits too, because Zapier is kind of, it's not really fully tied into anything. So, you can do some tricks to get it to notice when WooCommerce makes an order, or, and it's kind of sitting between two systems, and it's watching one and then going, oh, hey, something happened, and letting the other one know. Whereas we're a lot more optimized, lightweight, and I think user intuitive, because when you create your LifterLMS course, you can say, when the user begins the course, apply these tags. When the user clicks the complete button, apply these tags. And it's just done in one go. I don't think even Zapier does Lifter, do they?
They don't.
Yeah. But and a lot of things you just couldn't, because we're able to actually hook into your code, and where your code says this guy just completed a course, then WP Fusion is like, okay, that happened. Let's let Infusionsoft know. So it's just more integrated, and I think more streamlined system, and easier to understand too for other people who want to build on top of it later. That's
awesome. Well, tell us a little bit about WooCommerce as an example, because a lot of people who are listening to this, some of them don't start with courses. They may already have products or services that they're selling with WooCommerce, and then they want to add courses later. We have a WooCommerce integration for that. But if you're using WooCommerce as your store, how does that work in terms of connecting to the CRMs?
Yeah, and we didn't really think of this at the beginning, but because all of our integrations are tied together through these tags. So for example, our WooCommerce subscriptions integration, you can apply a tag when the subscription begins, but you can also have it removed if the subscription fails to pay or expires or whatever. And with our Lifter integration, you can enroll somebody in a course based on a tag. Mm-hmm. So right there, without any extra work, you could just say, apply, my cool course tag. As soon as WooCommerce applies that tag to WP Fusion, the user gets enrolled in the Lifter course. And if the subscription expires, the user's removed. And also, because the tags are getting sent to your CRM as well, you can send that automated email a week before or something like that. Your payment's a week overdue. Click here to update it, that kind of thing. And there's a lot we have Gravity Forms integration, so you can submit a form like a survey and apply a tag at the end of the survey saying survey completed, and then have a page on your site with a special coupon that only shows if you've completed the survey. So with some creativity, it's not only a connection between WordPress and the CRM, but it even can bridge a lot of these different WordPress plugins, make them interact in ways that maybe the original authors didn't think of. So there's fun possibilities there, yeah.
That's really cool. And the next question I'm going to ask you is about your pricing and the add-ons. And I'm in the exact same boat where we have single site or more money for a 5-site license. We have all these add-ons. And even though I know in my head how everything works and what the offer is, and you can get this package, you can get this package, sometimes people need a little bit of education around what the add-ons are, what they do, or what in general are they, and how does the pricing work? How does the licensing work?
Sure. Yeah.
Can you walk me through? It looks like you have the 3 pricing levels. You have personal, plus, and professional.
Yep.
And then with plus and professional, you get 4 pro add-ons. And then in your add-ons there, you've got abandoned cart tracking, e-commerce tracking, media tools, birthday coupons. Help the first-time person who's never heard of you before understand your pricing and the offer there.
Sure. Well, basically the price, we just started off with personal and professional. I wanted to keep it really simple. And I'm a big fan of easy digital downloads and affiliate WP. And I think their model works well. So I just kind of copied what they did. You pay, it's no automatic recurring billing. At the end of the year, you'll get an email. If you wish to renew your license, you get a 30% discount, and then you continue to have free support and automatic updates. Now, obviously, we recommend you renew because WordPress updates, WooCommerce updates, something might break, and if you have an active license, you're guaranteed to get the fixes right away. But it's not obligatory. It's free software. Once you buy it, you own it, and we can't cut it off or anything like that. So then we had a ton of people about 6 months ago saying, well, I really would like it, but you don't do what InfusedWoo does, which is sending e-commerce data. And I started thinking about what I really want to focus on is users, tracking users, segmenting users, and contacts. And if we start to add in, and especially since we were expanding into new CRMs, Infusionsoft has a very complex and very different e-commerce system. ActiveCampaign has an interesting one, but quite different. And the other CRMs don't really have one. So we started thinking about, well, we don't want to include this massive feature if 3/4 of our customers aren't going to use it, and it's going to take a while to develop. So that's what we launched, was with the e-commerce add-on. With our basic plugin, if a customer purchases in WooCommerce, the tag gets applied, the contact record gets created, but your sales data is still being run in WooCommerce. And that's how I do it myself. I think WooCommerce does a great job of reporting and that kind of stuff. But some people in enterprise situations, they need to get all those sales also into Infusionsoft so they can assign sales reps and that kind of thing. So with our e-commerce add-on, it actually creates the products in Infusionsoft based on the WooCommerce products. It creates an order record. It applies the products to ordered, and then it logs the order to the customer's record. So you can use Infusionsoft reporting tools. And the other add-ons kind of grew out of that. It was things that customers asked for,
like a cart abandonment.
Yeah, cart abandonment tracking. It's something that if it's running, it will slow down your checkout a little bit, because of course we have to notice when they start checking out, and then we have to do something else after we've confirmed they checked out. And even if it only adds 2/3 of a second to somebody's checkout, I wouldn't want to push that on all our customers if only a small subset of them are going to use it. So yeah, and it basically, the way WP Fusion without the add-ons works is, if you're running Gravity Forms, our Gravity Forms options show up. But if you're not running Gravity Forms, that whole part of the plugin is just not there. So you can really be running, it's really very, very fast and lightweight. It depends on how many things you're integrating with, and anything that's not directly kind of fitting into that spider's web of plugins and then back out to CRMs, we decided to do as add-ons. And we get to do experimental things too, like the birthday coupons was a customer who just really wanted to try that out. And we're like, yeah, sure, why not? And there's only a few people using it, but it's kind of cool. It's out there if you like it. Yeah.
What's the media tools?
Media tools was fun, actually. And I don't think anybody else is really doing this. So for example, if you have you could have a video in one of your lessons, like upload a video, either in an MP4 or a Vimeo video. And when you click on the video, we add some new options there that you can say, apply a tag when the user begins watching the video, when they reach a certain time code, and when they reach the end of the video. For example, with our course progression, you have your own built-in one, but say, for example, you wanted to use tags to manage course progression.
Sure.
You could say, the user has to begin watching the video and make it at least 2/3 of the way through, or else when he clicks on the next course, it's going to send him back to there to finish the video.
Right. That's very cool.
Yeah, and then you can, I mean, even outside of e-learning, I'm doing another big site right now where we're doing a huge training platform for a large company, and employees get bonuses by watching replays of their training seminars in video form.
Oh, that's really cool. Incentivized.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
There's a way to actually track that. That's cool.
Right, yeah. So yeah, and they don't know we're tracking it. So it's
it's a surprise.
It's kind of a mystery thing. Yeah, it's like they get awards and bonuses for being the most engaged or the most I don't remember what the business terminology is for all that stuff, but yeah. So we can see which employees are actually watching the replays after they attend the seminar. And at the end of the month, we can, because we have all the tags there, we can see if this group of employees has watched 5 of them, they get this. If this group has watched 2, they get this. And if this guy didn't watch any, maybe we'll send him an email, and we'll also get a task for supervisor to follow up and be like, get on the ball there. So I don't get too much into the marketing automation side of it just because it's so overwhelming, but I've seen some amazing stuff done by people who know what they're doing in that area. Yeah.
That's really awesome. Well, yeah, for us, we use ActiveCampaign as our main CRM, and for LifterLMS, which is a software product, the number one thing that where people are before they buy LifterLMS is our demo course.
Yeah.
So I'm going to be setting up WP Fusion on there to get our users into ActiveCampaign. I have it set up in a really hacky way through Zapier. But now that you're on the scene, I can't wait to play with it in more detail and try some of these more advanced messing around with the add-ons and stuff.
Yeah, and actually, I get a kick out of pitching in and helping you out with that, because we could do a little when the video button gets clicked, we could have a little bubble pop up and say tag applied or something.
Okay, yeah,
a little interactivity just to get them a sense of where the data is flowing out. That kind of stuff. Whatever. I like playing with that kind of stuff.
That's really cool.
Really cool. That'd be fun.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I'm super excited to go deeper with WP Fusion, and you're just hitting such a big need for people and doing it in an intuitive way.
Yeah, it's really for too. I'm glad we found you guys too, because I've done so many LearnDash sites over the years, and it works, but I train clients on it, and it's like you have to explain them all this course progression and then the points and the quizzes, and the quiz is kind of a separate plugin that got shoved in there later, and from a developer standpoint, it's not much fun. And like I was saying to you, I've got this Brazilian TV show that we're setting up a big lifter site on. And I showed it to them, even just the fact that it's a little more colorful or something like that. They were like, yeah, okay, we get this. So this is the price, right? And we put our stuff in here. And I was like, yeah, that's pretty much it. And I've added a little custom field here for your video. And okay, good to go. It was just so awesome. I've been made a convert for sure. It's finally nice to see an alternative. Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, I appreciate that. Thanks for saying that. Well, let's close it out and just talk about something that's near and dear to both of us and the listener, perhaps, which is the whole digital nomad thing. I just got off of 7 months on the road with my family, living out of a travel trailer, visiting national parks in the U.S., but also running my business from the road. I was just down in Mexico for a conference with some other WordPress business folks who do similar things. And just because you have that freedom to be location independent, it doesn't mean you always are living out of a backpack on a plane and in a hotel. And it sounds like you've been in Peru or Lima for a bit, but I mean, you move around, but it's not like you're traveling every single day. But tell us about your digital nomadism.
Yeah, I'm easing into it. I've been kind of freelancing on and off. I never really had a real job, so I've been doing websites probably since I was 15. They weren't very good back then. But but still, I would work part-time as a contractor with real companies, and you had that security and that kind of thing. And I just it was probably 4 years ago, my wife and I were like, we just want to go somewhere for 6 months, before we just get sucked into people who never leave this town again. And, at least try it out. We love where we were, but we wanted to at least just see something completely different.
Right.
And it was almost literally a dart at a board, landed on Peru.
Okay.
And ended up here and actually kind of hated it for the first 3 months. But we realized like I wasn't making quite as much money, but I had my laptop. I was helping a woman publish her ebook and do print on demand stuff, and it all pretty much worked. She thought it was cool that I was traveling. I thought clients would be like, want me in the boardroom, but talk to her every morning. She'd be asking, where did you go yesterday? What did you see over the weekend? How was Machu Picchu? And it almost made in becoming kind of less professional, made everybody have more fun, which I was surprised at. And then, I kind of grew from there. I'm now like my skills and rates are going up. So I tended to take on clients who are doing interesting projects. And like I was saying earlier, I've now started to get involved with these like digital nomad groups. And I was surprised that they have these kind of like co-labs or co-working houses, kind of like a hacker house, but a little more classy all around the world. Yeah, you can live like on a beach in Bali. It's like $140-$200 a month, private room, very clean, and with say 60 other designers, developers, marketers. There's a chef there, caters everything, free surfing lessons, yoga classes, a pool in the middle, very nice, and then a shared office space. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people I've met who are doing this say it's actually better than being in one fixed environment, because you might roll in and meet somebody with a great app idea, as rare as those are. But maybe like stuff just clicks over a drink, and then great things happen. I've met a few people on this cruise I took, a nomad cruise we did from Cartagena to Lisbon. And they were just sitting we had like a hackathon to develop like 4 prototype businesses in 48 hours or whatever. And they were kind of silly, but like I was amazed at just what a group of strangers who are all kind of like independent and liberally minded and just kind of willing to get outside their comfort zones to come up with on a boat with a lot of alcohol and laptops in 48 hours. We had a what was Michael's about phone your mom? One guy he created an app like within a day that on your mother's birthday it would start yelling at you, phone your mother, phone your mother.
That's good. I could use that actually.
Yeah, you could see. I mean, even a 99-cent sale. So I don't know. I got really inspired by that, and I started thinking maybe next year I might. I like having an apartment, but it might almost be fun to do 4 weeks here, 4 weeks there, and just kind of like soak in some ideas and meet some people with different mentalities and different cultures and backgrounds and stuff like that. I'm a real programmer type guy, and if I could meet a great marketer, who knows what would happen, or a designer, so it's an exciting new frontier. A lot of people don't really understand it. Some governments are actually, I heard that
like how do you tax that? Is that what
and actually the other great thing is as long as I spend less than 30 days a year in the States, I get a huge tax deduction.
But you're supposed to are you supposed to do Peruvian taxes or something, or
no? My bank accounts are on the States, but
okay.
If you don't reside there for any more than 30 days, you get a foreign earned income tax deduction.
And then digital products, or I don't know. I mean, I'm gonna go off my expertise. Right, yeah. I don't know. Yeah, it's kind of confusing.
Exactly. So I have customers in 160 countries.
Yeah.
So that actually makes that a lot easier. And even I have nomad friends in Europe now who are relocating their businesses to Estonia. And they're calling it Estonia. You can get your, okay. They will make you an electronic resident of Estonia over the internet and create your bank account, your business license, and you get this, I've even seen this super fancy like biometric card you just hold up to your computer, and it like certifies you for doing your banking activity. Okay. They want entrepreneurs and creative types to come to Estonia, establish their residency and business there, and the tax rates are super low. I think it's Malaysia now has just started offering 7-year visas for entrepreneur types. If you want to come there and do that kind of co-working thing or something, and you like it and you want to stay for a few years, they're fine with that. You can't work legally, but they're realizing that a lot of people are working for European or North American companies and spending that money in the local currency. So it's kind of cool to see some countries are starting to even make allowances for that and are being more welcome to people like that. And yeah, it's a cool evolving scene. It's an interesting time to be in for sure.
That's awesome. Yeah, Dan Andrews from the Tropical MBA podcast, he calls that the rise of the micro multinational.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know if he was going to write a book about it. I don't know.
like that. Yeah.
Dan, if you're listening, I'm curious. I'm curious what happened with the book. But yeah, it's interesting times. And when we work in this space, whether you're a software creator, a marketer, you're an expert and you're creating digital products like online courses or ebooks or whatever, it may feel like the party's over, but in reality, I think this is just the beginning. I mean, the economy is changing rapidly. More and more people are coming online. There's parts of the world that are just now getting online. They're skipping the whole desktop thing, going straight to mobile. It's a really exciting time, and the tools
and even with the
more powerful.
With the web technologies now too, especially because we're moving towards so many open APIs and stuff like that. It's no longer, I'm an Oracle guy and you're a Microsoft guy. It's like, there might be 10 of us with odd little web services, sitting at one of these co-working retreats. But if we've all got the same REST API, we can just make those work together in ways, or even let our customers just blend our tiny components however they like. And I guess that's kind of what we're trying to do with WP Fusion in a way, is like for every plugin, we give you a little bit of power and then you can do what you like with it. And I think that's I don't want to get too philosophical, but yeah, if the future could go into small good systems that all talk to each other in effective ways, that'd be a good future to move into.
That's awesome. Well, let me ask you a question related to that. For the non-technical person out there who's not
I get a little technical sometimes. Yeah.
No, it's okay. But we hear about it like in the WordPress community or whatever about the REST API and moving all to JavaScript. Like, what does that mean like for the layman? How does it really open up the opportunity?
I've got to actually start studying again.
Yeah.
That stuff's confusing, but no, it is exciting because PHP is the language WordPress is written in, and it's an old system. It's been optimized a lot, but you can't really change the groundwork there. So you get some limitations. Like when you go on Facebook, you never really reload a page. Your notifications slide in, everything slides in. And so that's your JavaScript layer. And Facebook is still built on PHP. PHP is doing it's figuring out who your friends are and what pictures you want to see. But on top of that, they have this pretty shiny layer that makes it cool and hip. And so what WordPress is doing right now is it's not getting rid of that powerful underlayer, but it's just opening it up so that if you want to sit your shiny pretty layer on top of it, you can. And I've seen some interesting stuff done with it. Like you theoretically, when all these things come together, you could build a Facebook copy on top of WordPress and have it run just as well. And so that's, I think, where they're really focused, because also too, we're moving into mobile applications and things like that. Your website could behave just like an app, no real reloading, everything available all the time. So I don't fully understand it. It scares me a little bit, but I do think it's the right direction. And it's also, layman's terms, when you click on a page on a WordPress site, the whole page gets thrown away and the server churns up and figures out what the next one's going to be, and then it gives it to you. And the way things are moving now with these new technologies is if you like your friend's photo, just the like button changes, instead of rebuilding all this stuff. So we're saving on electricity, we're saving on data storage space, and it makes it more modular and easier to understand and easy to stand upon later too. Yeah. Efficiency. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Well, it's exciting and terrifying for me. Yeah.
Well, I mean, the rate of change is accelerating, and that's one of the reasons why I think, like you mentioned in the digital nomad community, when you're in these networks of other people, in the future going forward, having good relationships and not trying to do it solo, or just having a network is going to become even more important to solve the problems of the future and to keep up with the rate of change and all that sort of thing.
Yeah. And I like that, because it's not, I grew up thinking you have to be a businessman, wear a suit and go to official meetings and contracts and stuff. But, you could meet a guy who's was a really good, interface designer when it comes to pet websites or something like that.
Right.
And had a good time. And 2 years later, you happen to get a government contract for animal rescue. And you're like, hey, how are you doing, man? And so there's this cool organic network of we all kind of have our interests and our focus and our strengths, and it's more organic. There's no I'm the boss, this is the project, you guys do it. It's more like I've got an opportunity, but I can't do it on my own, and I know some people. I'll bring together a team, make it happen, and the team disperses. And I think even that's more efficient in a way too, because you've got interested people doing what they want to do instead of kind of a rigid hierarchy of people being told what to do.
Absolutely. And if you haven't read the book,
I'm optimistic about the future all the time.
And if you're listening to this and you haven't read the book Rework yet, go ahead and check that out. It's a good book about remote teams and But last question: what is the future for WP Fusion? Where are you going? What's your strategy? What can people expect down the road?
Not really sure. We've gotten to the point now where it works really well. I got really into making it faster a couple months ago, and just I won't even begin to talk about that. But it was complicated. I'm not happy with the way it turned out. And now, really, it's just somebody will email and say, I'm interested in this, but somebody emailed this morning and said, I'd like to buy it, but I need to work with MemberPress, So we did MemberPress. And because of the way it's written, we could have 1,000 integrations, and the download size would be a little bit bigger, but it doesn't affect your site performance at all. And I guess eventually I'd hope, I'm even talking to some other businesses right now. I'm hoping that this might become a kind of standardized framework for communicating with these CRMs, because the CRM industry is exploding.
They're all different. There's no standard, right?
There's no real standard, but what you want for the most part is pretty much the same. So WordPress has just made an announcement. They want to get 51% market share of all new websites. I don't know, the next 10 years or something like that.
And they're currently at 27% or something.
Yeah, so it's ambitious. They've got a dedicated team called the 51 team.
Okay, sounds like WordPress.
So WordPress, I think they could do it, is pushing in that direction. And CRM, market or total sales and that kind of thing year over year is growing 20-25%. So, and I think they're great. When I first saw Infusionsoft, I was like, why would you need this? But now that I see how, if you're running a huge business, you can't have a one-on-one relationship necessarily with a customer, but if you don't let the customer feel taken care of, you lose them. Mm-hmm. So by creating these rules and these automations, you can make sure that you get notified exactly right before the customer needs you. And you can still have that close personal relationship and not be driven insane by it. And so I think with WordPress going and growing and CRMs growing, if one day we could become kind of just a standardized framework so that there doesn't have to be this fragmented ecosystem of, different people trying to connect different things in different ways. Because, if you created a new CRM and wanted to connect everything that we work with to it, you could easily do that as a separate plugin, just interface with ours. Or if somebody creates a new plugin that we don't want to support, but they want to connect to our CRMs, they can just attach that in there. So maybe one day it would become kind of a hub that just sort of standardizes, like we were saying with REST APIs, for example, how now services that couldn't talk before can now talk. Maybe this would be like a kind of baby version of that for WordPress, for just getting data out of the website and into the marketing system.
That's really cool. Well, Jack Arturo, ladies and gentlemen, WP Fusion. You can find him out more at wpfusionplugin.com.
Check it out.
Check it out. And thank you for coming on the show.
Yeah, thank you so much. It's been a great time talking to you.